Do you think it was a bad idea giving Joker to a budget that is more than 3 times the budget of what the first Joker cost? And do you think it will struggle to be profitable? So, yeah, I mean, the first one was like $80 million or $70 million, like something very modest. And that, like, it was always a risk, but it was a reasonable risk. Like, you go, it's Joker, but like a Scorsese movie is skin around a Joker. What is that? Or Joker wrapped around a Scorsese. What is this? It was risk, but with a reasonable budget. And then it made $1 billion, became the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. First one had a budget of $55 million, so even lower than I was thinking. I was thinking like 60, 70 million is actually what I was thinking. It's $55 million. Joker 2 has a budget of $200 million. So it's almost 4 times the budget. And you think our normal formula here, to be profitable, you need to make 2.5 to 3 times your budget to be profitable. So that would be $500, $600 million. On the one hand, the first Joker made $1 billion. So if this movie makes 60% of what the last one did, it's right at that profitable zone. But the first movie was a risk. This movie is a risk. The first movie does not end with obvious dangling plot threads that make it really obvious where the story would go next. It kind of wraps things up and it works as this isolated Joker origin story, Elseworld story. A sequel makes sense for business people, but on a story level, it's not obvious. Then they say it's a musical, which it's not the obvious follow-up to the original film, and it's not necessarily complimentary of people that loved the Scorsese thing with the first movie. Don't immediately necessarily go, but I hope it's a musical. That's not obvious. That's dangerous. That's a risk. But the biggest risk is going from 55 million to 200 million. I assume that is dump trucks of money to Todd Phillips' house and Joaquin Phoenix house. That's a big chunk of it right there. Is they give me a dump truck of money if we're going to do this. But I imagine also Todd Phillips was like, if you want me to do this, I want to be able to. I'm going to go full shebang with everything. And you can look at the trailer and there's all these gorgeous shots and even things that like seem fairly simple with like the lipstick smile on there. Like that's a very complicated thing to pull off and get that right, to draw on a pane of glass and have a person smile perfectly in alignment with it, or even whatever it would take with digitally to alter. That's not easy to do. And the whole thing is filled with these gorgeous IMAX shots. Like it's shot with IMAX. It's a very expensive shoot. But I think at the end of the day, you just go, does it need that? The first one made $1 billion and got nominated for a bunch of awards with a $55 million budget. You could double it and still be about half of what they currently spent on this film. So I just think anytime you're doing that, you're letting success a little bit go to your head, or you're too much exuberance. That it's another example of a project that's budget is just way out of control. And I imagine to get Todd Phillips and Joaquin to sign on, Warner Brothers had to agree to just like that sort of extravagance. Well, we don't want to do it if it's not going to be, we can't do all this. We don't want to do it. And so they were given tremendous freedom and a tremendous budget to work with, not just paying them, but a budget to work with to get them to sign on. But I don't think that's wise. I think that puts a tremendous burden on the film to try and be profitable. It was always very likely that this movie's going to disappoint compared to the success of the first one, because the first one was the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, and not in an obvious way. Deadpool was the most successful in an obvious way, and Deadpool and Wolverine beat it in an obvious way. Like, popular character and franchise, add another popular character and franchise, go multiverse. It's obvious why that would do fantastic. Joker is lightning in a bottle. It's a weird one. It's not obvious at all. So I think given that movie that budget is You earned it because you made $1 billion, but yikes, that is a dangerous move.
Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.